It's a struggle, baby. We thuggin', baby. I know we going through it, but better coming, baby. The streets you running, as long as home you coming, baby. Go get that money, yeah, go get that money, babe. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Only Grown Folks Allowed. We live, we lit, it's love. And today I just want to talk to my people, man, because one thing about what we finna talk about today is I know we gonna all resonate with what I'm talking about today. And what I'm talking about today is our generation of grandparents versus today's generation of grandparents. And it's a big difference. And it's so much of a big difference that the legacy that our generation of grandparents carry, I feel like it's been a legacy that's been lost. We mishandled it. We misused it. We took it for granted. We didn't embrace it as we should have for the long haul, because we embraced it at that time. And what I mean by that is our generation of grandparents had so much love instilled in their body, right? That they didn't just love their household. They loved everybody that was attached to their blood. Nieces, nephews, grandkids, great-grandkids, kids, aunts, uncles, sisters, brothers. They loved everybody. And when it was turmoil, tension, confrontations, altercations, problems, family issues, our generation of grandparents had so much respect, not just from 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 people in the family, but the entire family. I don't care what the hell was going on. We had respect for the entire family. And reason why I say that, we had so much respect for the grandparents that the difference between today's grandparent and our generation of grandparents is they went through so much that keeping the family together, to me, to them was more important than everything they went through, because they understood how important love and embracing your family and how important it was to stay tight, man. We not tight today. Today's grandparent just as petty as a young female in the hood that go to the club that's into it with broads on Facebook. Today's grandparent carries the bitterness and hold on to things that ruin the entirety of a family. And when I say this, I'm not talking about just your household. This affects every member of that line of blood, man. And that's a reason why today families, especially black families, like we so torn apart, we so broken, we hold so much bitterness towards other family members. We don't mess with them. We can't get together because this half of the family don't mess with that half, and this household don't mess with that household. So because of y'all problems, the kids don't get to have that bond that they should with each other. That's the difference between our generation of grandparents. It didn't matter what was going on. Back in our time when we was young, in our family, our aunts, our uncles, our moms, our dads, they all had secrets. But one thing about the grandparents, the staples of the family, the pipeline of the bloodline. Yeah, we going through all this, but at the end of the day, whether we going through all this or not, we still family. We supposed to love each other. And at the end of the day, granted, if people still held on to this bitterness emotionally and whatever towards other people. When it came to the grandparents' spoken word, your grandma and your grandpa speaking to the family, we listening. It registered. We paid attention and we respected how they felt, what they said, and most importantly, why they spoke. Because they knew more than we would ever knew, more than we would ever know today, how important it was and is for family to stay tight. Today, family ain't tight. You got cousins that don't like each other. You got siblings that don't like each other. You got aunts and uncles and all of this. You got all of this going on, and we so torn apart. You don't see traditional cookouts no more. The same ones that our grandparents would orchestrate, and everybody showed up. Nobody could have an attitude enough to say, you know what? I know they going to there, but Lisa gonna be there. Cousin Lisa gonna be there, and I ain't going because I don't like her. Bullshit. Our generation of grandparents cuss your ass out, you don't show up. Because at the end of the day, they don't care about none of that shit. Right now, we on family time. We gonna act like a family. And today's grandparents don't possess that leadership. They don't hold that type of respect from the rest of the family. And it's sad because every family got other people involved in those families that want to put the initiative to carry on these traditions, but one person can't do it. It's a big difference. It's a big disconnect between our generation and our generation of grandparents. You know what I'm saying? Like my grandma she was built different. She talked to you strong, and at the same time, but you understood it came from love. Today, the standard grandparent is different. More things slide. It's not as much of a sit down and dig in your head to get you to understand how important family is. It's none of that. It's just, okay, well, you don't like such and such, I don't like them neither. Where you couldn't, our generation of grandparents didn't choose sides. If it's family, it's family. Period, point blank. And it's a big difference. That's why I feel like a legacy is lost, because once we lose our generation of grandparents, our grandma, our grandpa, everything inside of our family becomes different. The structure becomes different. Those cookouts, those get-togethers, the love, the way we embraced family from out of state, and the ones we didn't even know, the ones we live with, we don't even like. We so distant. It's like in 20 years, 30 years from now, everything that existed over so much time that our grandparents and they grandparents and parents stood on, we let it go. And because we let it go, when we look at ourselves in the mirror and we turn around and we look at our family set up and the way our whole bloodline set up, and we deal with each other, how we get together and how we bond with each other, how we love each other, when we really look at that, we'll realize this shit fucked up. Nobody can tell today's grown up. Nobody can tell nobody about each other. Nobody can correct one another. Love ain't never been easy, especially when it comes to family. But at the end of the day, if y'all love each other enough, if family is that important enough for you and the people that you deal with on a regular basis, it should be important for you to get over every obstacle that could separate or put distance or disconnect your family, especially the traditions and everything else that come with it. Because from personal experience, and I'm talking about both sides of my family, the grandparents is gone. And ever since my grandparents left, everything been different. Cousins separated, bonds with everybody just parted ways. Certain people had their own motives all along. Like, it's just like, now that the grandparents is gone, there's nobody that could tell them anything about sticking together anymore. Family ain't important no more. It's like when we lose our grandparents, family no longer is the number one priority. You see what I'm saying? But inside your household, under your roof, that's the difference between the grandparent back in the day. They took all the grandkids in. They took all the cousins in. They took all the nieces and nephews in. It didn't matter what you was going through. If you going through it, come on. And that's why you had 20 cousins and 20 brothers and sisters and 30 cousins all at one house, all at auntie house, all at grandma house, all at grandma and grandpa house. Today, family so distant, people only deal with the ones they want to deal with, and it's like the other people don't exist. So you have a million cousins out there that you just refuse to have a bond with because family's so torn apart that we don't want to sew it back together. Like, it takes a village to raise a child, and be, on behalf of grown people, we so fucked up. When we become grown and we talking about the village that raises a child, we became the village once we became adults. And because we mishandling how shit go out here right now, look at our kids though. They fucked up. And because they your kids, you don't want to be outspoken and agree with the fact that your kids is fucked up. So it ain't always like the kids' fault that they fucked up. Because at the end of the day, when it was your time and your years, you had your time to be the supervisor, the provider, the one that you influenced your child, the one that your child grew to admire the most. You failed. We failed because in the long run, look at how our family is. So it ain't about blaming the kids. Fuck no. We got to blame us as the adults because we come from the generations of watching our family keep our family together no matter what the secrets and no matter what the confrontations and the issues was within the family. And that's why today in 2024, I don't even think I'm speaking just for myself when I say it's no longer any cookouts like they used to be. It's no more holiday get-togethers like it used to be. When you struggle your ass out there by yourself, you and your kids, it's not like it used to be. Everybody want to point the fingers. Well, how about this shit? The whole family fucked up. And because of that, the family fucked up. Don't expect our young to correct this shit that we ain't correcting now. That's too much of a burden on them. So we done sat back. We miss our grandparents so much. I'm not the only one saying this. When I say this, I mean this. We all miss our grandparents. But they disappointed in a motherfucker right now because look at us. And when I say this, it ain't just my family, nigga. It's your family. Everybody family fucked up. I ain't talking about these half-ass family reunions and fake barbecues niggas is having, man. We like fuck each other. When they went through everything, some of our folks went through slavery and everything. So family was that much more important to them than it is to us because we didn't have to experience half the shit they did. But one thing they never lost, no matter what they went through, was love for their family, holding on to their family, keeping their shit together. They treated the bloodline like an heirloom that's supposed to be passed on for a lifetime. And when it came time for other people in our families that had to take on them responsibilities of keeping the families together, instead of doing so, they help play part into why families today is fucked up. And I'm not going to excuse my language because, nigga, when I'm talking about this shit, I'm passionate about this shit. And I don't give a fuck how nobody, nigga, I'm right. Today's grandparent suck, nigga. And we sit here and we blame everything but ourselves for why stuff is like it is. I'm going to tell you what it is. I'm going to tell you why we disappointed our elders, man. Because we chose to hold on to bitterness and shit that ain't important more than we chose to hold on to family. And that fucked us up for eternity. Because the way we are right now, the current state of how families love each other and keep themselves intact is so fucked up, this shit might not exist a few decades from now. But y'all worry about love and hip hop. Who having rap beefs? Cardi B ass. Shit that don't matter. When we got family falling apart in our face and we chose not to give a fuck. This shit's sad because we watch our elders. And that's not to say they didn't have secrets. That's not to say they didn't go through a lot of stuff with each other. But at the end of the day, family was more important than the stuff that they was going through. And that's why family was airtight like it was. That's why it took 40 years for you to find out that auntie wasn't your auntie. She really was your dad. I mean, not your dad, but auntie was really your mama. But you've been living with grandma for so long, you thought she was auntie. They held on to them secrets for decades because they understood at that time it wasn't the right time for this to take place because this type of thing. Whereas today, family gonna go at each other on Facebook. Family grown, the people that's supposed to be the older uncle, the uncles and aunties and all of that right now today, they act like young people. They act like young adults. We got a disagreement. It go to social media before it go to going in the phone, and I'm pretty sure you got their name programmed in your phone and calling them and be like, hey, listen, cousin Pete, man, what's the problem? It don't be none of that shit. We walk around with this shit as grown adults. Grown adults. We not 21, 24, 27, 28. We grown-ass motherfucking adults. And we walk around this bitch dealing with issues within our families like we motherfucking teenagers. And y'all ain't embarrassed about this shit? I don't give a fuck if you don't agree with what I'm saying. But what I am saying to you is we failed our grandparents in the worst way because they fought for everything and we ain't fighting for nothing. And if you ain't hurt by that, knowing that your family goes a long way, but it ain't tight like it should be, you should have a problem with this shit too. But you also play the problem when you don't participate in trying to get this shit back in position like our elders had it. We all like, just fuck it. If it ain't got nothing to do with me, fuck it. Man, this shit got something to do with all of us. Because we letting our families go out of bitterness, pettiness, shit that ain't never more important than family. So when you sitting back a lot of times and you wondering why shit ain't going like it should be for us a lot of times. Just think about when we was young and our grandparents. It's times they was struggling too. But we was all struggling together, so we never felt the struggle. And at the same time, they was the ones that front line weathered the storms majority of the time for the rest of the family's issues and problems. And they carried that on their shoulders, and they kept the family strong. And they took that responsibility, and it never became a complaint because it was mandatory, like working to survive. So you can understand why when we was young, we were so close to our cousins and our aunties and our uncles. Whereas today, you pick and choose who you love. You pick and choose who your family. You pick and choose who can come to the cook. Man, this shit ain't family. It's a fucking disappointment to the ones that carried this shit, started this shit, that bred this whole bloodline of a family you have. It's a disappointment to the elders is what it is. It's a legacy lost to our grandparents. And I'm going to leave it at that, man. Only grown folks allowed. If you don't like what I'm saying, just understand. I ain't going to even lie to you. I'm grown as fuck. I say what the fuck I want to say. Period. Point blank. We live. We lit. It's love. Only grown folks allowed. If you grown, make sure you follow this channel. Make sure you follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, on YouTube. We everywhere. We gonna be funny at times. We gonna keep it real at times, but we gonna always be grown about it every time. I'm out.
It's the struggle, baby. We thuggin', baby. I know we going through it, but better coming, baby. The streets you running, as long as home you coming, baby. Go get that money, yeah, go get that money, babe. Yeah, yeah, yeah.